JT Andrews with Beyond Race Magazine, here with international sensational artist Hugo.
Thank you very much.
Hi Hugo.
How you doing?
I'm JT Andrews, better known as Jada. I saw your last showcase. It was just really good. It was the best.
Very kind.
So Hugo, is that your real name?
Yeah, that's my name.
Okay. Interesting name. What does it mean?
I think it's like I know a lot of Spanish people called Hugo, a lot of French people called Hugo. I think my mum and dad, I don't know what they were doing on Victor Hugo Street, but I think it's had something to do with that.
Okay. So when did you first decide that music was your passion?
I've always liked it, you know. Even as a kid, I would be dancing around with my mother's leather jacket on, listening to Michael Jackson or whatever when I was a kid. And then later on, I got into sort of, Guns N' Roses and rock music and all that kind of thing. But since sort of 15 or 16, I've been in some kind of band. I mean, it was this high school band with my friends, to doing it professionally in Thailand.
Cool. So you were born in England and raised in Thailand. What was that experience like for you?
Well, everybody going through their childhood thinks whatever it is normal, right? So I kind of liked it, and I suppose it's a very formative period in my life. I really miss that sort of time, weather and the landscape. So when I'm there, it's great. But at the same time, being like mixed, people there just, when I was a kid, they thought I was, like an English kid, and when I could speak Thai, they'd freak out. But now I think they're kind of used to it.
You're signed to Rock Nation's label. How did that come about?
I had a record out, well, it wasn't out, I had a record that was never released, and eventually I was dropped from a major label in London and became a songwriter for other people. And my album made its way to a writing session with Amanda Ghost, who was my writing partner at the time, and she was writing for Beyonce. Because she'd just done Beautiful Live for her, and they were just starting to write together, and she must have played it to her, and I got a call the next day, after she played it, just saying, yeah, B loves the cut, she wants to, record it, or whatever. I was out, I was done, and it was like a lifesaver, like plugging into a life support.
That's the song Disappear, right?
Yeah.
I love that song, amazing song. What was the inspiration behind you getting on the hit record 99 Problems?
Well, I liked it when it came out on the Black Album. I thought that what Jay-Z and Rick Rubin had done with that track had really taken music forward a whole lot in terms of, making hip hop and rock without it being, the typical just rapping over a rock song or, putting guitars on a hip hop song. It really sounded new and fresh. I loved it, and I've been obsessed with it for a while. And then so when I got signed to his label, it just seemed like my way of sort of, showing some gratitude or something. But I also had to make it my own.
Who are some of your influences musically?
Probably, guys like Robert Johnson, Skip James, Howlin' Wolf, pretty key. Mark Bolan, Jim Morrison, John Lennon, these guys are pretty serious for me.
So what's the inspiration behind the new album? Like, was it personal experiences? Did you write all your songs by yourself?
There's one song on there which I had nothing to do with, which a guy called James Fauntleroy wrote the lyrics for, which is amazing. And everything else, I had a hand in to a small or large part. Mostly it's personal experiences. I mean, when you're moving around and you're separated from your family and people you love and whatever, that in itself is something that can stir up quite a lot of emotions that can be channeled into a song. Sometimes I'm writing. It's great if you have a title or an idea that maybe has nothing to do with you. Like in Old Time Religion, Tai called me up and sent me the track and said, listen, you got to write over this, and you got to say motherfucker in the song, and someone has to die. And so then I just, did the story. I was telling like a story, like an old blues song. A lot of those old blues songs that I like are just telling a story.
Speaking of Old Time Religion, it kind of reminds me. It makes me think of Jim Morrison for some reason.
Oh, thank you.
Can you break the science of the song?
The science
Can you
of it?
break it down?
Well, the way it sounds musically is there's a meter sample in there, and that's what gives it that sort of 70s dirty funk type thing going on. And then there are the mean modern style, new style hip hop, sort of kicks, electronic kicks, 808s and things like that. That makes it hit really hard. And then there's this little guitar licks here and there which keep it sort of folky. Lyrically, it's about getting caught sleeping with your best friend's girl and him shooting you down and dying in the parking lot. And that's kind of like a fear I've had, like when I was in a band in Thailand, when you're in a band and you're playing out in the countryside and you've got girls coming up to you, you don't know what their story is. And it was like this constant fear all the time that you would just one day like mess with the wrong girl and their husband or father or brother would turn up and just blow you away. And so that was kind of that sort of paranoia. It was